How's it going, everyone? In this video I'm going to be going through my favourite items in Risk of Rain 2. Now, I don't claim to be an authority on whether any particular item is good or S tier. This list is for my personal favourite items that I always like to see pop out of chests regardless of how my run is going or if it even fits into my build. Therefore, this list is going to be highly subjective, so let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, or if there's an item I haven't mentioned that you personally have a soft spot for. I've tried not to be too basic with this list. Like, you're not going to see glasses or goat hoof on here because, well, yes, they're great and I'm never unhappy to see them, but then the list would just be items that you already know are good if you've played more than a few runs of Risk of Rain 2. Actually, I'm going to write that down. So whether I'm playing Monsoon, Eclipse, or hell, even during my 5 annual minutes of Simulacrum before I get bored, I'm happy to see these items and I'm going to tell you why I think they're neat. Okay, let's start. Oh, also, this isn't in any particular order, I'm just going to go by rarity. First up, Backup Mag. Add 1 charge to your secondary skill. Okay, groundbreaking, right? I know I just said I wasn't going to be too basic, but hear me out. Extra phase blasts, scope shots, spins, nanobombs, they're all great. I think Captain is probably the only survivor that doesn't get great value from it, because Taser sucks. But for just about any other survivor, Backup Mag is a great find. It's just really nice to have a couple of these. But the main reason Backup Mag made this list is because I play Huntress quite a lot, and I just really like the little hover you can do as you throw out consecutive glaives. It keeps you in the air, out of reach of a fair few enemies, and you get to watch them ricochet around like pinball doing gorgeous amounts of AoE damage. Also, having a bunch on loader is great because grappling hooks are the greatest thing to ever happen to gaming. Next up, Bustling Fungus. After standing still for 1 second, create a zone that heals you and all allies within 3 meters. Yeah, I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but I genuinely unironically enjoy Fungus. Not just on Engineer, even though yes, on NG it's about 100 times better than any other survivor. In terms of how it works, it's very similar to Cautious Slug, in the sense that you have to disengage from combat for them to work. When you take a huge chunk of damage and need to run away before a wisp sneezes on you and ends your run, I enjoy having to run and hide somewhere to get as much healing as possible in before the monsters catch up. It's more exciting to me than just running continuously as your health regenerates. Come to think of it, that's how Weeping Fungus works, but Wungus can work in combat, so it's still better than the Cautious Slug for me. And just look at those little guys, how can you not love them? Gasoline. Killing an enemy ignites nearby enemies and applies burn. It's good damage, it's AoE, it's a debuff. I like the sound of the burn text. Gasoline is amazing at the start of a run, especially during early teleporter bosses if you can get all the squishier enemies to group up around the boss, and if your survivor doesn't have any AoE in their kit. Honestly, I like Gasoline more than Will-o'-the-Wisp. Due to it being a white item, you see it more than Wisp, and you can stack it more easily. Some of you may remember the version of Gasoline where it only had the apply burn to nearby enemies effect. Yeah, that version sucked and could never compete with Wisp, but now with the explosion of damage as well as the fact that Ignition Tank is also in the game, then you realise why I prefer Gas. Now onto the greens, but quickly before that, if you're enjoying the video, why not subscribe? I'll be doing a part 2 of this video with my least favourite items and you won't want to miss it. Yooka-Laylee, and his music was electric.
And indeed it worked.
25% chance to fire chain lightning to nearby enemies. Yeah, do I really need to say more about Yooka-Laylee? It is the most iconic item in the game. I would have bet about 90% of you would have Yooka-Laylee in their top 3 green items along with ATG and bands. Yes, I'm counting them as one. It's AoE, it's great for proc chains, and its void counterpart is amazing as well. Gore's Tome. 4% chance on kill to drop a treasure worth $25. Scales over time. Gore's Tome is good, or even great, for the first few stages, then falls off a cliff to basically become a green version of Roll of Pennies as you get to higher stages. It can help you skip the slow start of the early stages where you're waiting for spawns to come in and you're just wandering around, unable to buy that tri-tip dagger you saw in the multi-shop. Also, it heavily cuts down on the farming on Abyssal Depths or Sundered Grove for the legendary chest. I enjoy having Gome even on higher stages because it's like walking down the street and noticing a penny on the ground. It changes literally nothing, but it's a nice ooh moment, and I also very much enjoy doing the trick of collecting a nugget just as you're about to teleport off the stage to give you a little boost towards your first chest on the next stage. And if you didn't know about that trick already, you're welcome. Number 6, Wax. Okay, slight tangent for a sec. Why is it when running or walking somewhere in a game, we constantly jump as we go? Is it actually faster? Does it just feel faster? What is it? I see in Overwatch, Minecraft, TF2. Why does almost everyone do it just instinctively? We never talk about it and it's always puzzled me. Anyway, Wax Quail. Jumping while sprinting boosts you forward by 10 meters. Yeah, it actually does make it faster to run jump, so here it is on the list. Also, its combo with headset is ridiculously fun and ridiculously powerful. Brainstalks. Killing an elite causes your skills to have 0.5 second cooldowns for 4 seconds. Getting Brainstalks boost during a hectic fight is so fun as you just spam your most damaging ability or your survivor's mobility skill if you need to run away. Plus, if you're looping, the effect becomes even more ever present as more and more enemies spawn as elites, which can be super helpful. Also, you know I mentioned Huntress's hover with her secondary earlier? Yep, same applies here, but it's even better. After I get a boost, I hold down right click and just... Ceremonial Daggers. Killing an enemy fires out 3 homing daggers. The most satisfying item in the game. To me at least. Take out one enemy and everything else on the map dies. Sometimes. Daggers usually need a bit of help from some other items to become truly destructive, but the potential that flashes across your mind as you see this item is unmatched. Also, the sound design on these is phenomenal. It's just perfect. And then when there aren't any other enemies, watching the daggers float there, then instantly take off to spawn kill an unsuspecting Lemurian is quite funny. In the footage you're watching in the background here, I got ceremonial daggers quite late. So they didn't exactly carry my run, but it was a lot quieter after they showed up. Little Disciple. Fire tracking wisps while sprinting. This is my personal favourite of the boss items, and I think it's partly because I don't see it all that often. Scorched Acres is the only map that Grove Tender has the chance to be the teleporter boss. Yes, there's family events, but when was the last time you saw one of those? Yeah, funny I should say that, because when getting footage after having written this script, I actually got a GUP family event. It's probably the quickest stage 5 I've ever had, because I could just full loot with the money that just a couple of the GUPs would give me for killing them. The boss was a nightmare because it was a horde of many on this tiny platform where you can't be too close to GUPs. Yeah, it was rough, but I got through. Anyway, sprinting around and having the tracking wisps fly off the survivor to smack the nearest beetle in the mouth is great extra damage, and you don't really have to do anything. My Huntress bias is showing once again, because paired with the Agile passive, it's just, it's a perfect match. And finally, the last on my list of favourite items in Risk of Rain 2 is Artifact Key. Good night.